now we are moving into game development. So within game development, we only have two projects. One is the Kue and one is Kitani.
Kitani, okay.
So first off, we're going to go with the Kue. This is by Atika Bahrom, yeah.
Alright.
So she kind of created a story-based game where inside the story game there's also kind of like a mini game. I forgot what the type of mini game it was called. Watermelon. It's based off of watermelon something, but within the game you can learn a lot about all Bruneian food. Kueh lah. So like right here we have, you can see it later in the trailer.
Okay.
But because the artist isn't here today. So you can see pengalapan, bom, onde, and it gives you like detailed description on what it is about as well, and like what is made out of. So basically it's just a game about that. Yeah. So moving on to the other game development project. This is Kitani card game by Atikah Muhammad. So she designed this solitaire card packs with really designed Bruneian icons are here. You can take a look. So everything represents what represents Brunei lah. And if I'm not mistaken, each suit, not just each suit, but each like levels of the card, like number JQK has a meaning or something.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, JQK are all landmarks of Brunei, and then 1, 2, 3 are like games of Brunei, something like that lah. So she like carefully curated according to the theme. Yeah. And you can look at the back as well. This is the other cards that she included. And if you want to make your own card, you can draw. Yeah, you can draw your own card and then put it right there. Okay. So next up, it is digital art and technology. So actually, the first one is, we're gonna go back over there.
Okay.
So this one is actually, okay, so the artist isn't here today.
Sure.
So the artwork is kind of like off at the moment because it kind of requires his stuff to be here. But do you know what a diorama is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like that little toy miniature of the building itself. So he kind of create a digital version of that is put onto a cloud system lah. So it also depends on your Wi-Fi capabilities. So he did that, a whole digital diorama, but of the UBD, for UBD. So this is the whole map that he did, and he have over 4,000 geo-coordinated images that he take from his drone, and he covered about 107 hectares of land, and in total it's about 4 hour plus of flight time to cover everything. So within this website you can also like, you have sun simulation, you have weather simulation for you to look at the whole map of UBD and how it looks like, and it's also, it has this really cute UX design. So it kind of looks like Sims. And every single building you highlight, it tells you the name of the building and how to get there, kind of like that. All right.
Do you know what drone does he use?
I have no idea. You wait for the artist for that. But you can, what do you call that? Go through his digital diorama through this link.
Okay.
Right.
It's finally on. The artist just came and it's already like doing the setup. So here is how it look like for the photogrammetry. Yeah. So it's like a diorama. See? Look at it. Interesting.
Moving on. This is Traces of Life by Tiny Melon Bug. And if you want to see her other works, you can find it on her IG with the same name, Tiny Melon Bug. So she is an illustrator, and she decided to represent these two artwork right here. And what she wanted to highlight is she wanted to highlight that you shouldn't focus on just the final product, but she wants you to appreciate also like the effort and the kind of like the ways that that every artist have to take before going into the final product. So that's why this one kind of goes here and that one goes
in
here.
progress.
Yeah, she want to highlight the importance of every single step lah. So here it's her sketching. This is her adding the values, and this is color blocking, and then the final render. And that one is also like quite similar lah. Why she chose to represent these two artworks is because these two are like her prominent art style. So this is like the cute corporate kind of art style, and this one is her more preferred art style, which is like anime-esque. So moving on, this is Folklore Tale in Bits, and if I'm not mistaken from my interpretation as well, this is like she wanted to highlight these 4 folklores because these two are like disappearing from Bruneians, the younger generation lah. And she also want to highlight that through a disappearing art style, which is 8-bit. So the two kind of like mirrors each other, and she want to highlight both of that. So do you know any of these folklores?
Not really.
It's okay. Yeah. So this one's actually Harimau Jadian.
Okay.
I don't know what the origin is, but yeah, this is like a were-tiger.
Were-tiger.
So this one is Si Putih, a giant white crocodile of Tutong. This one is Orang Tinggi.
Orang Tinggi?
Yeah, Orang Tinggi, and it's like a forest spirit lah. This one I don't know. It's the great great deer of somewhere. I think it's Tutong also.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool,
All right. And over there, that is her initial sketch lah on how to like about these creatures. So you have Si Putih, Orang Tinggi, were-tiger, and the deer. Okay.
Cool.
So moving on, this one, it is Visual Dialogues, A Journey in Communication by Irfan Abdullah. And he designed this 3 posters, and he has a theme of what he likes, not what he likes, what he thinks is important and what he likes as well. So it's his interest right now is like this, the current issues, the Palestinian issues, and he wanted to display it on this like grunge, really like public, like display of that lah. So this is to represent like this is not just a global issue, like a typical like global issue, but it's a public, a human issue. That's why he represented in this like humanist, normal kind of way. So he is a graphic designer. He has a lot of previous artwork as well that he posted all around the installation. And if you want to contact him, you can like direct this one, or you scan the QR code. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. This is, oh wow.
Whoa, is it glitching?
It's glitching. So this is actually Visutech by Zafran. And the artist, I'm not sure if he's here, but so I don't know what's wrong with that. But he actually created this whole library of like 3D objects. So it's kind of like catering to interior design. So like they could easily like drag and drop these stuff and put it into this like VR thing, and you can go through it to see how it would look like in kind of like simulating real life. So if you use this, you can look through it lah. And within here, it's actually sebenarnya, like if it's not glitching, this is actually a living room that he created out of all these things that he have produced. And within the living room, you can like visualize yourself how it would look like if it's in real life, and also like you can interact with the objects within it as well. So yeah, that is Visutech. Yeah, and he want to highlight like the whole VR and 3D part of like the art world.
Okay.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Zafran, and this is my project Visutech. So what Visutech is basically about, it's a project or like a service of providing 3D assets to creatives, but predominantly beginner 3D creatives. So it's to help them enhance their efficiency when doing 3D projects, but also help them maintain their creativity. So how I do that is by providing ready-made assets that I've made through Blender on a platform called Sketchfab. So any new creatives can come up here, browse through all the models that I have up, and then if they want to use them, they can download them and use them as a foundation to modify and build off of rather than having to model from scratch. So that's basically the main aspect of my project. I also have a VR station as part of my project, and why I have a VR station is basically number one is for a way for me to show visitors how my assets can be used. But number two is also a way for me to raise a little bit of awareness on how 3D modeling, when paired with new technologies such as VR, can be beneficial when applied within the creative industry. So the example I have right here is basically, it's an example of its application within interior design. So traditionally, interior designs, they're pitched through picture renders, sketches, drawings like that. However, if we use and implement 3D modeling and VR technology, we can create a more immersive experience. So basically, clients can have a better feel of what they're getting before they commit to that service. And this is just one of many possible applications of this type of use of modeling and VR tech within the creative industry. So yeah, so there's, I would say there's like lots of potential beneficial application, even just outside of this, even with stuff like curatorship and creating exhibitions and stuff like that. We can create virtual exhibitions if people aren't able to afford paying rent for like real stuff and stuff like that. That's just like a few of the ways that we can sort of make use of 3D modeling and VR tech. Yeah.
I see. So they just have to like build their own 3D model, and from there they integrate into
and not necessarily having to just do the models themselves by scratch, because I do the service of like providing that models for them. Yeah.
Okay. And how long does it take you to
So
do this?
in terms of the entire project, we did this over, I did this over like a 3 months period. However, in terms of like the workload, I would say 80% of the workload is all the modeling stuff, and 20% would be the VR stuff. So the modeling would take a lot more time compared to doing the VR stuff, I would say.
And where do you learn to do all this?
So in terms, for both 3D modeling and the VR stuff, I self-taught. And so I'm using the software Blender and Unity, and what's good about these softwares is that they're open source, meaning that there's lots of resources, videos, forums, stuff online for people to basically teach themselves how to use it. And the resources out there are so abundant, I feel like people can become proficient just by using those resources.
Seriously? Okay. You mind like demonstrate to me how
Yeah,
to
sure.
use it?
So do you want to try, or okay? So basically, or do you want me to?
Because I'm using glasses, maybe.
You can
Is it?
you can use it with glasses on if you want to try.
Sure.
Okay, so basically, let me explain the controls of it first.
All right.
So for the experience, in terms of the controls, for both controls, you don't have to worry about any other thing except for the joystick and this button. The other buttons you don't have to worry about. So this is going to be for your left hand. And this is going to be for your right hand. Just get that on. Okay, so in your left hand is going to be all your movement stuff. So with the joystick, if you push it forwards, it'll move you forwards, backwards, right, left.
Okay.
And in your right hand is going to be your looking around or turning.
Okay.
So if you push the stick to the right, it'll turn you to the right. If you push the stick to the left, it'll turn you to the left.
Okay.
So in the experience, I've put some interactable items like the magazine, our little mascot, which you can basically pick up and interact with just to make it a little bit more interesting for the visitors. And in order to pick those up are the buttons on the handles here. So if you press them, it's like clenching your hands, so you can just lean over, pick stuff up. And for first-time VR users, it can be quite nauseating experience for like in terms of the movement. So I've added an option for people to use the teleport function. In order to use that with the right stick, you just push and hold it forwards. It'll bring up an arc with a circle at the end. All you have to do is point it anywhere on the floor. As long as the arc is green, when you let go, it'll teleport you there.
Okay.
So I'd recommend standing a bit back here.
Back here. All right.
So you might be able to wear them with your glasses, because I always wear them with my glasses. You just have to put them over your glasses first, and take your other hand, pull the strap over your head. This is the biggest setting here. Yep.
Oh, okay. Alright. So I could throw as well.
Yeah, basically you can throw stuff. Like that.
Nice.
So there's actually quite limited interactability, because as I said before, this whole experience is basically, the main purpose of the experience is basically to have a more immersive version of trying to pitch like interior design.
Oh.
So that's the main purpose. The only reason I've added some interactable items is just to make it interesting for the visitors.
Yeah. See, interesting. So this is pretty much the space of the room. Okay.
So like this is a mock-up of a living room space.
There's another button, right? So what does it do?
The other buttons, for this setup, they don't do anything. So it's just the movement and the.
Okay. Since this one is like low, how do I like?
Yeah, you have to crouch down in real life. Like, yep.
Okay.
The buttons on the handle. Yeah.
Like pressing. Okay. Oh. Should have like a physics where it break, shattered.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
So like the good thing with Unity is actually you can do stuff like that, but it takes some time to learn. So because for me Unity is quite a new skill for me. So yeah, it's still a learning process.
That is the final project for digital art and technology, and now we're moving into film and media production. So in film and media, we have 5 projects altogether. Luminous Companion, Roots Unveil, Sisterhood, Brunei in 1980s, and Dear Self. So this one over here is actually all the things that she used by Najwa, and she used this to do her stop motion film, which is Brunei in the 1980s. So you can view her film later on inside the theater. And she used all of this to move it around. Yeah.
This thing?
Yeah, this clasp and just the clasp to hold the characters in place. And it's all made out of like wood, foam, and felt. Her diorama, I would say.
Nice.
Okay, so over here you can actually see the runtime for the whole film, and there are 5 films in total, each having like ranging their times. And for Luminous Companion, it is a special preview because the film is a bit longer. So this is just a snippet of that.
Do you know how long is it?
I forgot. 15? 12? Okay. Probably around that time. So, hold on. So if you wanted to watch the whole thing later on, if you had the time, it's about 30 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Got it.
And yeah.
At night, when the world outside seems to slow down and the stars twinkle with a comforting rhythm, there's a ritual that speaks volumes of love and care. It's the simple act of brewing a cup of coffee, not for yourself, but for me. You see, unlike most people who turn to coffee for a jolt of energy, for me, it's a lullaby. A signal to my tired mind and body that it's time to rest. And my sister, with full of love, understands this implicitly. Every night, without fail, she takes the time to make that cup of coffee, not because she has to, but because she knows it brings me comfort. Every moment spent with her felt like a moving painting, like our ink box or box with fields of flowers. much stuff leaving behind the worries and stresses of everyday life, and we both immerse ourselves in the beauty of nature. We pick out our favorite blooms, sharing stories and laughter under the vast expanse of the sky. In those moments, surrounded by the vibrant colors and fragrant scents of the flowers, I'm reminded of the beauty of the bond that transcends words and defies explanation. My sister once told me,
Bella, this world can be tough to show, but remember you are strong, brave and smarter than you. Hold on to your hands. Then will be your sunshine without tears. If ever feel lost, remember that a friend will always be with you, cheering you on from wherever I am.
and then there were those moments, seemingly mundane and still profoundly meaningful. Why would you care so much? Simply because she knows I can't stand the sticky residue of her nose or fingers. It's a small gesture, one that might go unnoticed on many, but to me, it speaks volumes about the thoughtfulness and consideration. In that act, I feel seen, understood, in a way that only a sister can understand. These memories form our relationship. Through her acts of kindness and love, she has become my guiding light in a world that can sometimes feel overwhelming and uncertain. And now I'm missing that. So here's to my sister, my hero, my confidant, and my best friend. Thank you for understanding me in a way that no one else could, and for filling my life with so much love and joy. I cherish every moment we share together. God, I know you're listening, and I ask for one thing. Please keep her safe in your heaven.
It's a short film. Best film. What's it?
That's it.
Okay, ada one again.
Yeah, that's the next one. Then one more last one, and then that's it.
2018. My year.
Yeah, I think this one is the most interesting one. Yeah, using stop motion animation. So you see the one outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kampung Air. I was 8 when I was first introduced to the village, holding my mom's hand while we were walking along the wooden bridges. As a little kid, I was naturally curious about the place. It made me feel excited. It made me think about what kind of people live there, or what sort of food they eat, and what activities do they engage in every day. How do the kids play? As I entered the house, I remember just sitting there watching as my cousins were running and playing tags among themselves, while the older cousins sat down at the balcony having conversations with the neighbors, while the kids would swim and play in the murky water. As I made observations of the surroundings, the curiosity to explore the village and the house, its every nook and cranny slowly crept up on me. But every time I visited, my mom never allowed me to go with my cousin to explore the place, so I always just sat idly with her. Sometimes I would even go by the ice cream that my cousin sold there too. My mother used to tell me stories of when she still lived in Kampung Air in the 80s and how it used to be like before. She would tell me there used to be a woman called the Padian, and they would wear these huge rounded hats called sirolling beanie to cover themselves from the heat, selling their fresh finds in small boats. In a year, there would be at least one birthday party where they celebrate her cousin's birthday. All the neighboring kids and their parents would come to the party, playing a variety of games during that time. particularly this game, where everyone would gather and a box would be passed around while music was playing in the background. She would also tell me stories of how families would always sit and eat together for every dinner, enjoying their home-cooked meals in each other's company. Kids would play and run along the wooden walkways, playing chara and kicking as soon as schools were done for the day. Listening to all of her stories, I couldn't help but think that her life was fulfilling and how everyone knew each other's name, asking help from the neighbors, and having conversations with each other every day. Fast forward to 15 years later, I decided to visit the village to reminisce my old memories of the place. Walking along the walkway, I was reminded of the excitement that I felt as a child venturing to a new place. As soon as I approached the house, a wave of epiphany hit me. That change is inevitable. The very same place my grandparent and mom used to call home has now almost been surrounded by collapsed houses. The vibrant place that I once knew had long been gone. If I never went there as a kid, I would presume the village to be haunted. The village was dull and mundane. It was lifeless. There were only a few people that still lived there, those who got to witness the change, those who got to witness their close neighbors moving away. How lonely must that have felt? When did everything start to change? The bridges were shaky, there were no accessible clinics in sight, delivery homes were left deserted. Traces of the old village that existed for centuries will soon be forgotten. There has been no action taken to preserve the village, the heart of Brunei where our grandparents lived most of their lives. Children will only get to know the village through stories passed down for generations will not get to witness the livelihood of the place. And I wonder what the city will look like now if there was any effort put into preserving the so-called national landmark, Kampung Melayu, the heart of Brunei.
So this is Spectrum's podcast that they've done, running throughout the whole Spectrum 1 year itulah. And we've done a few episodes, and if you want to check them out, they are available to scan in this QR code.
Okay.
Yeah. So for example, this is a cosplay episode, curator episode, and this is one we've done with the influencer Khalid El Amiri. Yeah.
Familiar,
He
okay.
came to Brunei and we're just like, come, join. Now moving on to publication, so about books lah. So over here we have Diaries Between Two Friends by Abdul Khalik, and it's an innovative way to read a book because if you see, this is his book, and on one side it's like kind of like the story of the male perspective of the friend, and then if you look on the other, once you're done reading that, you can read on the other side, and it is the female perspective, of the friend. So it's a really like fun take on a book on to read on their both of their perspective lah. Okay, so
and what is this?
this one,
scribble?
he add this element to his kind of like his installation lah, so that people could write. Because if you read the story, it's something to do with like being happy, being friends and all that lah. I haven't really read the book, so. But you can add random doodles and things, list one things to one happy things lah. So all of this kind of like correlates to the book lah if you read it.
Okay.
Like if they like the main thing lah. Moving on, this is Vision Beyond Words by Shamimi Manae, and it's actually a book. So it's this book, and it is kind of like overcoming their mental health issues lah. And you can have a look. Yeah, you can have a look over here. So this book is also supported by these three digital artwork that she made to further highlight the mental issues lah. So abyss, fractured, as well as shattered. And if you want to leave like a short message for her, never mind. We're out of
already.
We're out of what do you call
Sticky
that?
notes.
Sticky notes, yeah. So people have left all these like sweet message lah about mental health issues and about her as an artist. Yeah. All right. Moving on. This is The Story of Marilla Cuthbert, the graphic novel by Bashir Junaidi. And this character, Marilla Cuthbert, is actually from the film Anne of Green Gables, film book, yeah. And if you know Anne with an E, she's also in there. So she's actually a side character within those stories, but he wanted to incorporate her into his graphic novel as the main character. So it's her story now. And why he chose to represent her and like in this Victorian era style as well, it's because he loves Victorian era and wants to highlight the fashion, the culture, the way of living. So if you look in the book, you can see just that. Oops.
Ooh,
Yeah.
very nice. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll take a look.
And he also created a sticker as well as a bookmark if you wanted to buy that at the merch table.
Okay.
Moving on, this is A Joyful Journey Hari Raya edition by Farhana. And inside here, she actually created a children's book. So children can learn about like the traditions of Raya lah, because right now the tradition is kind of like slowly dying, and her goal is to keep that alive and visually shown to children lah. And it is like you are taken on a journey by this owl called Shao Owl. Yeah. And if you want to order the book, you can get it from there.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to write a little message as well, boleh here.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
So over here, it's Si Kuning by Adawiyah, and just now I told you the story of Si Putih, a giant white alligator from Tutong. This is actually another folk tale or folklore in Brunei, and it's about Si Kuning instead. So it's about this little yellow crocodile that could shapeshift into a human lah. And you can take a look at this comic that she made right here about ia punya background and story lah.
Nice.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, if I read it correctly, I've only flipped through it, but at the end, the crocodile is thankful for this human here's help, and the crocodile turned into a human and gave him a pot of gold. Yeah, kind of like that. So yeah, that is Si Kuning.
First impression, I thought it looked like a snake in some way.
Right? Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, it's actually a crocodile.
Okay.
I think,
Nice.
or an alligator. I forgot which one. But moving on, this one. Here we have Let's Alphabet by Shasha Muzani. And she created this alphabet book where each alphabet, it corresponds to a Bruneian word lah, for children to learn. So if you see here, it is A for Ambuyat, but it also included like multiple like Malay Bruneian words lah, with it. So let's move on to M, Manggis, and then we have like Main, Mahal, Malar. Yeah. So it's to highlight the Bruneian language lah as well. And if you want to write down your favorite Bruneian words, they have here. Yeah, but keep it like kid-friendly lah.
True.
And if you want to buy the book, it is $7 only, and it's at the merch table.
Okay.
If you want to play a little game as well to test your Bruneian word knowledge, you can play here. Okay, moving on. This is Blossom by Shazza Hamani. And it is also a children's book. And to summarize the story, it is about a girl wanting to have the same flower garden as her grandmother lah. So you can have a read later on, but it started off with her being this is the art style that she chose lah, because that's kind of like her prominent art style as well. So she wanted to have her garden of her own. She's really inspired by it. She talks to her grandma about it, but then she wanted to figure out a way on how to make her own garden. So instead she cuts it out of paper and decided to make her own garden. Ta-da!
Oh.
Yeah. And then, yeah, and she have her own garden lah. What's unique about this is that she actually created, if you see the flower here, she actually created the texture and the texture and the pattern of the flower in real life. As you can see, this is one of the flower here. So she upcycles material, and she made this out of like McD's paper packaging.
Oh.
So she paint on them, scan them, and then put this on. This pattern is this one right here.
This one, okay.
Yeah, and she puts them to become one of these flowers lah. So it's kind of like a mixed media work. Yeah. So that is Blossom.